Tonight's caller is 30 years old and believes that high-earning, top-tier men should still be expected to stay loyal to one woman. She says if women are educated, successful, and making good money, they should be able to secure a high-value man who commits only to them. But once Kevin starts asking deeper questions about history, human nature, and the realities of dating at the top level, the conversation quickly shifts.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How old are you again?
I'm 30.
So my question was, why don't your friends like my content? But do you have a question?
Yes, so my question was for the high value women or the women who are above the 10%.
Okay.
You made
Earnings?
earnings.
Okay.
Yeah. You made a post about men who are the 6%. Why should they only have one woman?
3%.
3%. Why should they have one woman?
Mm-hmm.
So for women who are high valued, who are educated, who do make more than the 10%, how do we, I guess, get these 3%ers that only want one woman?
Okay, first of all, a woman's not high value because of her income.
Okay.
The value proposition for women is different. You know, she's attractive and appealing. Has a comforting character. She's discerning and disciplined, and several other things. But money doesn't make a woman high value.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could go into Hollywood. You can go to places where women have hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and they still have to marry men on their right. So you're basically asking, how do I get a 3% man to be a loyal? You want what all women tend to want. You want a loyal alpha. Why? Where in history have women ever been able to make that kind of demand of such a rare man?
I don't think ever. I mean, I understand it. I feel like every man that I've dated of high value has always wanted more women, but I just never. So is that something we should just deal with?
Where in the history of human beings have men of high standing ever been expected to be solely monogamous?
I guess I don't know.
See, I was listening to Shahrazad Ali today. This culture we have here, the monogamy, like it or not, was really done for business reasons, more or less. But if you really look at human beings who kind of settle themselves accordingly, men of means tend to have more food, more resources, more men at arms, more soldiers, more this, more that. And he has a queen, and he also has what? Concubines. You get to be number one. But you got to look at it this way too, man. That's how human beings have evolved. And I know a lot of women are upset with that, but where in nature do you see the top males who makes monogamous pair bonds? It's not even in our nature. Now, just because a man may choose to do it, why is that so important? And here's the funny thing. That man, the man you're talking about, is magnitudes more valuable than another man. Just from an income standpoint. We're talking about a man who's at least 3 times more income than average men. Right? At least. Then why doesn't he get 3 times more options of women? He's more valuable, right? And see, this is the female fantasy. I want you to go out there and kill the dragon, be the top dog. I want you to dominate other men, subdue the environment, and I want you to bring it all to me. And then I want you to solely commit to me. Now, for 3 to 5 days or more out of a month, I'm not going to even, you can't even touch me sexually. And we know in business, anytime a monopoly is on something, what happens to customer service? Customer service on some products that are monopolies is low. Consumer confidence is average. Innovation is stagnant. What makes a market better? Competition. So you want a man to go out and do all this stuff, and then he has one sexual partner. Okay, then what if he wants it? Can you fulfill his sexual needs? Because men who are driven like that tend to have high drives. Can you fulfill that?
I can try.
No. Not try. Not try. The men we're talking about, let's get into it. The men who are driven like this are generally healthy, generally very virile, have higher levels of testosterone. They are conquerors by nature. And most women cannot keep up with a man's sex drive. So he's supposed to go out and do all that stuff and limit himself. Why? I'm trying to understand the justification. Why?
I mean, I don't. If he's in love, I don't know. So there's no loyalty if you're.
Loyalty is we come home to you. Loyalty is your name is on the mortgage and on the insurance. Your name is on all the important stuff. When a man cheats, men don't cheat with their dick. They cheat with their wallets.
Okay. Well, I've had men just tell me straight up, this is what it's going to be.
That's what, and that's why I say high value men don't cheat. They exercise options. And as a man who's never cheated, I still understand that you can. And if you're a man of value, you do have options. And if you're a woman that wants to deal with a man like that, you'd be a fool not to understand that that man has options. And if he chooses to do something completely different, that's on him. But it's not natural. What we're talking about isn't even natural, man. I mean, you know your sex drive, and you know that men's sex drive tends to be higher than a woman. So he's supposed to get out there and conquer and dominate and then beg you for sex. I mean, if you tell me a woman is ripped rearing, ready to go whenever, however he wants, and she's going to meet his desires, so he doesn't need to desire another one. But you can't tell me a woman that can do that. It's not possible. That's why I asked. So I asked the question, where did this concept come from? Because it's not even natural. Where do dukes and earls and the top 10% of men throughout civilizations, where have they ever just had one woman solely?
Yeah, I agree. That's true.
So I always tell women, like, in your position, if you want to deal with men who are in high demand from other women, your problem isn't typically your man. Your problem is typically the other women, because the other women are trying to get your position. It's your job to make sure that even if he does this, that there's rules. No outside babies, no STDs, no public or private embarrassment, and no putting the family at risk.
Right.
Because do you not know when? Because think about how your standards are. If a man can meet your standards, that means he can meet a lot of women that you think are beneath you, their standards, right?
Right.
Well, then go for a man who's lesser. Why don't you go for a man who's not valued, who's not pre-selected, who other women just are like, oh, you can have him all to yourself. I don't want him. You got him, girl. But that ain't what you want, right?
No.
Right. And how old are you again?
I'm 30.
Okay. Do you want to get married?
Yeah.
Kids?
I have one. I want more. I know I have a son, And I know you all.
I'm just telling you, if you talk about high value men, you know what that means, right?
My son is with a high valued man as well. I know you.
Was he your husband though?
No, he was not my husband.
Why was he? How long were you guys together?
On and off for 10 years.
Why didn't you guys get married?
I don't think we were compatible.
Then why'd you make a baby? See, men, I need you to understand, you want a high value man to be a stepdaddy? Sierra got y'all confused.
Yeah. I mean, my son's father is a great man. And
it doesn't matter. The kind of man you're talking about can go get a 25-year-old version of you without a kid. That's why I'm like, I think you ladies need to realize when you have children, high value is pretty much off the table, especially in today's dating environment. Today's dating environment is different than it was even 5 years ago. Too much information. The cat is out of the bag. New York Post even talked about it today. Do you realize that you can't have one struggle to get the kind of man you're talking about? Not one. Did you watch my broadcast last night? Is it over for these women?
No, I didn't.
I talked about the kind of women that it's over for regarding high value men. And I said these career boss chicks, these high earners who want to continue that, it's over for them because a man's not going to compete with that. Go watch it last night. And I also talked about women who are unfit. It's over for them. And I said it too. If you have a kid, it's a wrap. Because you got to realize that the men you want are in the top 5% of men. And they can go get, and they have access to, and women are actively shooting their shot. So what can you do? And then you want them to be monogamous? You're not monogamous. You bring in somebody else's kid. Here it is. Men with golden, I'm going to talk about this. Men with golden penis syndrome are ruining sex and dating for women. And this is written by a really lame blue pill dude. A lack of competition has led the men to develop golden penis syndrome. And arrogance stems from the assumption that there's a steady supply of females. See, this is a beta male who wrote this, who's jealous of men who have options. Because women choose the men that they want, and he's not one. So there's a plethora of men. The men up here have an unchanging supply of women. So how can you go in at 30 with a 10-year-old expecting a man up here and he's going to be loyal? That's a big ask. That's a big ask. Sex ratios among college-educated heterosexuals and singles is approximately 3 women to every 2 men. And then even in 1981 was the last time a 4-year colleges graduated more men than women. And then where was this? In New York City, 9 to 12% of men in that category identify as being gay or bi. So what is it? Some 9 to 12% of Manhattan said they're gay. So basically what I'm saying is you ladies, if you want these men who are up here, and you know, do you think you don't know what you have in your house that's of more value? And if a man knows that he's socioeconomically, from a height standpoint or from a marketplace standpoint, he is more rare, how important is it to have a man like that? Or would the average man not do? Okay, well then you need to be ready to be part of a rotation. The best you can expect, I think a winning hand for you, if a high value man were to accept you as his wife, that man would likely have children and he would still likely exercise options.
And that's been my experience. So.
Yeah, that's why people get mad at me. I'm like, this is what it is. It's like, because he's like, well, I'll promote you to primary, but you know what it is. I got a kid over here, and I'm gonna be dicking down my baby mama from time to time. You got to understand that you can't have no parts of your baby daddy. And then you still got to live up to all the rules. No social media, cut off your single friends. You still got to live that life. He can do what he wants.
Right.
And and women are like, that's not fair. There's no fair in this thing. You don't have to deal with men like that. You could choose to say, you know what, I'll get a guy that's making average income and I'll have all of myself, but that ain't what you want. So just be primary wife and don't ask questions you don't want an answer to. Do you want to have any more kids?
Yes.
How many more?
2.
Then you better get to work on the sales proposition. What's the sales proposition? Date me because what? Because you got a 10-year-old, right?
Right.
So a 10-year-old, is his father taking care of his responsibility?
Yeah. He's a great father. Great provider.
Still. I mean, I've been in that position too, still. I need to come up. This is a good conversation, but you got to know the kind of man you're going after. Unless you're going after a man who's in his late 40s, 50s.
Mid 40s, early 40s.
Late 40s, 50s. Because those are the guys who tend to be like, fine. Yeah, we're like, whatever. But if you mid 40, I mean, you're talking about income. A guy doesn't hit his financial stride till 45 to 55. So depending upon the kind of income you're talking about, he has to have time to get there. So okay, ladies, understand something. To get a high value man, you're going to give up at least 3 things. To be a single woman with no children, you're going to give up 3 things. And for every ding you have on you in the sexual marketplace, you're going to give up 1 more thing. If you want a man who is a certain age, well, what you going to give up to get him? Because that's the 3 things you're going to have to already give. You got to give something to get that man. So what I'm ultimately saying is, if these men by the numbers are more rare than women who want them.
Right.
I'll give this example. It's kind of like if you've ever bought something on the open market, like watches and things like that. You can't go buy certain watches because there's just not enough of them. So they have a whole market to where the price is increased in the gray market. High value men are on the gray market and they're increasing in value. So I would suggest that a woman with a 10-year-old just come and say, look here, man, I know what it is. I'm going to be this Beyonce up in here. I'm with you. We got some ground rules. I cannot tolerate public embarrassment, any diseases or whatever. Here are the things I can't tolerate. Other than that, but if you break this, you break like public embarrassment, that kind of stuff, bringing home babies, diseases, you break this, I'm coming after you like Dr. Dre's ex-wife was coming after him. And you can't say shit. And most men will be like, because we understand rules. Because if he does something like that, that's reckless. It's dangerous to the family, it's dangerous to the brand, and he has to pay. But most men would say that's a fair deal. Now, here's the funny thing. Here's what you ladies need to understand. The older men get or the busier we get, the less we want to exercise these options. We barely got time to have sex with you. We want to go to bed. We want to go to sleep. A lot of times the options these guys are exercising, they're going over there for a mental release far more than sexual. She's providing a different girlfriend kind of experience, and you're providing a wife experience. You want to keep the kind of man you're talking about? be his wife and his girlfriend, not his wife and the mother of his child. Be his wife and his girlfriend, and it's a lot less that some chick can come do, because we as men, we don't want to get to know another chick. We don't want to get to answer her questions. You can actually win. And this is where women at your age should be outpacing younger women, because you should at least be wise enough to be like, all right, I got a kid. I know what it is. This is the deal. You should be able to kick younger women's ass. So I just gave you some real good game right there. If you're willing to be pragmatic, you can win. You can win. Because we, men who are at this level, are pragmatic more than anything else. They ain't trying to have sex with somebody new every day. You know how much STDs are out there? Dudes ain't trying to do all that. They ain't trying to do all that. Lastly, if you need to, get him a sugar baby or get him something like that. This conversation between me and you. I'm not talking to the rest of y'all. A lot of women allow their husbands to sugar or seeking arrangements, and they set a budget. And you're like, and it's kind of like a pretty woman thing. It's like, all right, you go do what you do, whatever. It's above board, and you know what he's in it for. And she comes with a certain specific skill set, and he ain't leaving you for the sugar baby. He's not leaving you for that because she can't be the mother and minister, whatever. It's really what happens. And a sugar baby or seeking arrangement is much better than a rotation or whatever, because she just wants the money.
Yeah.
She wants your man. She wants your spot. So if you have the kind of mindset to be like, look, trust me, it's better that way. And sugar, 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, whatever. So, and more often than not, guys get tired of doing that. They don't really want to exercise it. They just want to, more often than not, men just want to know they have options to do it. Yeah. That's it. They want to know they have the option. That's it. So, all right, good?
Yeah.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. I know I'm going to get hate mail on that shit. Oh, my God.
All right, let's slow this down for a second, because conversations like this always leave people with strong reactions. Some people hear it and think it's harsh. Some people think it's the truth nobody wants to say, and others think it's somewhere in the middle. But the real reason clips like this go viral is because they force people to confront something uncomfortable, the difference between what we want the world to be and what the world actually is. What you just watched wasn't really about one woman. It wasn't even really about Kevin. It was about expectations versus reality. A lot of people grow up hearing that if you work hard, build a career, and become successful, then everything else will just fall into place, including relationships. But relationships don't work the same way careers do. The qualities that make someone successful at work are not always the same qualities that make someone desirable in the dating market. That disconnect is where a lot of confusion starts. And that's why Kevin kept bringing the conversation back to one point. The marketplace decides. Not feelings, not intentions, not what we think should be fair. The market, meaning what people actually choose in real life. And when you start talking about the top percentage of men or women, the dynamics change even more because the numbers get smaller and the competition gets higher. Now, whether you agree with Kevin's perspective or not, one thing you can't deny is that he forced people to actually think about these questions. What do people really value in relationships? What trade-offs are people willing to make? And how do personal choices earlier in life affect the options available later on? Those are uncomfortable conversations, but they're important ones. Because ignoring reality doesn't change it. It just delays the moment when you finally have to face it. At the end of the day, everyone has the freedom to choose the kind of life they want. But every choice comes with trade-offs. The sooner people understand those trade-offs, the better decisions they can make for their future. Let me know what you think about this conversation in the comments below. Do you agree with Kevin's perspective? Or do you see it differently? These discussions are meant to get people thinking, and the conversation is always more interesting when you hear different viewpoints. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, And don't forget to support Kevin Samuels' original content to keep his legacy and these discussions alive. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.